Hello again, welcome to the draft panel, the second game of the TI-10 Grand Finals, again with Seb and Noto, and Team Spirit, they took game one. But I actually had a question I wanted to ask you guys. So in the first game, LGD had choice, they took first pick, and Spirit responded with Radiant. And in this game, Spirit had choice, but they actually took second pick, and LGD responded with Radiant. Why do you think that is?
There's definitely a big Radiant advantage, so no surprise that whoever gets to choose side will choose Radiant. And it does seem that now we have two teams that are gonna keep clashing at each other's, and they're questioning the execution versus the theory, because apparently Team Spirit wants second pick and LGD wants first pick. And I think also the way the draft starts is another case of that. This is the exact same scenario of game one. So this is LGD stating that, hey, there's probably something we could have done better, maybe draft-wise, but our approach to these games is the right one, and we're sticking with it.
Yeah, I always love to see it when you have teams that stick with their guns, and you could say that Team Spirit were maybe really happy with how the choices went down, where they might prefer second pick, or they feel like they're able to punish them really hard, or whatever it is. I think LGD always should be left with okay, now we at least know this is what they want, and blah blah blah, and this is a best of five, so this is also them gonna be getting to know each other better. This outcome of this game is gonna be super important for how the rest will shape out. LGD, they might feel something if they're winning, or if they're losing, there's always a chance that they keep going back to the same thing. But then, yeah, like this game, we're gonna probably see, I'm predicting Team Spirit going for something new again for Yatoro. I think they're feeling themselves a lot and are drafting a lot also on feeling. You also heard Heen talk about that. They're drafting on feeling. And you also see now LGD decided to switch it up, or kind of go away from what happened last game with lack of AoE, lack of team fight, and they instantly lock in Alesh with the IO to give the IO that.
I want to say that, so Team Spirit, right, they really shook LGD. They proved that they can beat them at their own game. And I feel like no team so far in the tournament has done that. And I was kind of sad as a Dota enthusiast. It's like, come on, if you're going to lift the Aegis, somebody has to, make you kind of work for it. And Team Spirit did that, and it's awesome. And now we're going to see, can LGD show us, the level 2, the level 3, and then it's going to bring even better Dota. What I really love about Team Spirit did, they had the same opener open to them. They could have ET tied again.
Yep.
And, they respect LGD. They respect them so much that they expect them to be ready to punish them for the same draft. So they know, you know what? We're not giving you what you think we're going to do. You're going to have to think on the spot. We don't want you to come to this draft with, XIO8, 1 hour of preparation on how to do even better. You have to think on the spot. Bane Magnus. It's beautiful approach. It's mind games between the drafters, and props to Miposhka and Silent for pulling this one out.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. This is like a big mental game. It's always been, it always will be, but it starts here. It starts with the draft, and again, so many statements are being made between the draft, between the two teams on this is what we believe in, this is what we're going to do to you now, and we're trying to throw you off guard, and yeah, a lot being said.
I do want to say that there's something very interesting in my opinion, is last game, LGD, when they play this West, they're very much looking at connecting early with nothing to say. Mm-hmm. And connecting to a Pangolier that doesn't have the best matchup, it's hard. Pango doesn't really have a way to take over the game. Leshrac, Wisp, that is scary. Leshrac most of the time wins his lane. He can power farm, he can, you start accelerating a Leshrac as a Wisp, he might take over the game. And I feel like with the Pangolier, it's not the same.
There's a lot more abuse to be had with the Leshrac. You can get the mana, you can get the Soul Ring, you can get the runes, you can get certain mana abuse that also allows this hero to have a way different game. His timings are something else. This going back to base, this not being able to dive, IO can fix all of it for you.
He will take the towers, he will kill anything, any camp. He'll take the entire game if he has to. And that's something very beautiful. Another thing to mention, in my opinion, is we have not seen Collapse yet out of his trifecta, Magnus, Tide, Mars, where he's incredible on these heroes, and he's getting them every game. So he got the mag now again, which means, in my opinion, Team Spirit is going to be in their comfort zone. They have so many cool strategies, so many cool lanes. They understand how to fight around these heroes better than any team in the tournament.
And I think you're spot on with the read that you guys have about Leshrac, because they're just banning to protect their mid Leshrac, right? We see the Lina coming out, the Invoker, and even now an Animate. I don't know if it protects a Snowball. But when you have this hero, I think you pretty much want to play for nothing to save time. I think that's what has found LGD a lot of success in this tournament. And they're not diverting so much from their West. They think this is the strongest hero for them, but they're adding on to that strategy.
There's something I think very important to mention, is that the second phase, how it's gonna go down, and like Team Spirit will have to pick the hero that's gonna be kind of the pivotal hero. Like they don't want to show, and then they're gonna start counter picking. And it is interesting for LGD to show the Leshrac that early, because no matter what, first pick cannot protect the mid matchup. Team Spirit can just delay the mid pick for as long as they want to. In this case, LGD is like, you know what? We're committing to this with Leshrac. We don't think it's countered. Or maybe they think it's only countered by Lina and Invoker that can match the pace of what Wiz Leshrac can apply to a game. And now it's like they're happy. No matter what Team Spirit is holding for the 18 or the 24 pick, for the mid lane, it does not matter.
Does that mean you think that Team Spirit should pick their mid out of the phase just so that they don't reveal anything more about the draft? Or
It makes
could
a
be a
lot
way.
of sense.
Yeah.
There's always arguments for both. Like if you wanna, depends on how you enjoy playing Dota sometimes, depends on what types of players you have on your team. If you see the mid matchup, theoretically, of course, there's many arguments for revealing your mid matchup or trying to address this and have a stronger win condition if that's what you're going for on your carry. There's also another way where it's like, yeah, you love your mid laner so much that you're going to pick your carry hero and make sure that this Leshrac is mid and make sure there's no bamboozling happening and he gets the last pick win condition or timing condition or whatever it might be. It all depends. If you pick anti-mage is out, but if you pick some carry hero here and you say nothing can beat it in the game, it makes a lot of sense too because you want your mid guy to stabilize the game and he needs to have a really good start. Like the better the start, the better because you're going to need him very early.
Could this be Shaker Morph coming? Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
So that's one of the. So you have these combos, right, that are very hard to pick, and there's only two scenarios in which you can actually pick them. And probably that's one of the strengths of first pick is first pick has the double pick, right, the Shaker Morph.
Yes. Yeah. There's that, and also you feel like quite often with this phase you might want to commit just cause it's going to be hard to counter, and there's this and that. But don't you think this Willow was a protect pick against this?
But potentially, maybe it was even a setup for the Morph. I think, like, the way I look at it is they're trying to take the win condition away from the Mac +1, and I think Shaker Morph has a way to play fights and scale into the Mac +1, in my opinion.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if they thought about it, but Willow Bramble is one of the best abilities against the Shaker Morph.
Yeah.
The Aghanims, you can't just roll through the fight. If there's Brambles on the ground, you instantly get pulled down. I don't know if that's what they were thinking, but I also think, like Seb said, they're maybe threatening this Morphling to come up. And if they have an answer now they trap them. Or if they feel like they have an amazing answer to this.
There's many things about why this Shaker Morph here makes a lot of sense. It's not stoppable, drafting-wise. They're picking both heroes, in the same phase. You cannot stop it. Mechanically, drafting-wise, you can't stop it. The AA cannot be picked anymore because they have shown the Bane and they have shown the Willow, meaning, like the big counters to the Shaker Morph are kind of hard to pick for Team Spirit. It's a win condition. It's a very strong combo that scales into anything. Very powerful second phase from LGD, and that's what I think why they are the best first pick team in the tournament, because they understand the weaknesses of first pick, but most importantly, they abuse the strength of the drafting order of first pick. They're like, you cannot stop me from getting what I want, and what I want, I think it beats anything.
Yep.
So from your guys' perspective, of the two drafts, like if you were in their shoes, which draft would you actually prefer to have right now?
It's a hard pick. I kind of want to lean towards LGD, but don't know how you feel about it.
I would say LGD in a way, but at the same time, I can also see where Team Spirit is going with this. A lot of people would say that Lash, Shaker, Morph are all heroes that are good against Willow, but I see amazing Bramble value here versus the Lash, the IO. You can break the tether, you can do a lot of stuff in team fights for the Shaker and the Morph, and it's a quick lineup. The Luna is able to hit these timings where Roshan is threatened, where towers are threatened very early. And Shaker Morph, they need a lot of time. They usually don't come online until 20-something.
So I'll make the case against. So Johan is vouching for Team Spirit. I'm going to try to vouch for LGD for what they have going for them. I think they're one of the best teams in the world, understanding how to make a Leshrac scale also through the Leshrac shard. They have abused that in the online tournaments prior to TI. And now this Shaker, plus the Morph, plus the Lesh and the shards, like the scaling, the stun, AoE stuns in the team fight later, it's going to be crazy. I think they have the Wisp, Lesh, as we talked about, they're covering it so much. They ban the Invoker, they ban the Lina, they ban the Void Spirit, they ban the Kunkka. There's going to be very few mid laners that are going to be able to deal with this Lesh running at you with the Wisp tethering to him, overcharge and whatnot. So they do have very powerful things going into the game. Of course, they have the pick-off, the map, Leshrac shoving the lanes, relocate, the Shaker threat bursting you out of fog on the map, Shaker Morph scaling. There's a lot going on, in my opinion, for LGD. And yet again, you look at the 5v5, you look at the lineups, and you can theorize all you want. Now you also have to keep track, and that's why drafting is such a complex thing. You have to keep track of how the lanes are going to play out. Because if Team Spirit, they destroy the laning phase, none of that matters. The game might just be over in minute 10.
So do you think they're thinking about the lane right now? Because in my head, I thought LGD, they were going to pick Rubik, right? Counter the skewer, but instead they go with a Nature's Prophet, maybe a stronger laner into that Luna.
Very strong into the Luna Willow or Luna Bane. No matter how you look at it, this Prophet lane should be heavily LGD favored. And it complements very well what's happening. The Leshrac pressure with the Wisp, now you have treants, meaning you do get a kill, you get a tower. Prophet connects, Prophet ulti. I think it plays very well to their game. It's going to stabilize the game by, slowing down the Luna, winning the lane. It's going to connect to the Wisp and the Leshrac, and it's going to add to the global pressure on the map.
Prophet is also one of the quickest heroes, you could say, in Dota. You pick this, like you pick an Ench, you pick an Ursa. There might just be a different Dota game coming your way. You might not be allowed to play as slow or as fast as you'd hope, because this hero adds so much dimension. And yeah, I think this IO Lesh Prophet, the timings that they can hit before minute 15, they can break this game.
And we see Team Spirit, they're trying to respond a little bit to that pressure with some outspan from long range, but I'm not sure if they have enough. Like, I look at the 4 heroes from LGD side, and that collapse, it looks terrifying, honestly, onto mid, onto safe lane, anything.
I see how both teams can fight. I will still put a lot, like if you take the laning phase aside, and let's say that both teams end up with some farm and items, you have this, he's known for his skewer plays right now, and then you also have the Willow Bramble and the Puck. I think both teams can fight.
Yeah, and now we're going to hear from Sumi, who has an interview with Xiaowei about this draft.
Thank you very much, AUI and the panel. I'm here with Xiaoba from PSG LGD, the coach. A lot of people were expecting your team to play a different team in grand finals. Did you prepare at all for Team Spirit?
很多人都觉得你们决赛对战的是另外一支队伍，你对 Spirit 有做准备吗？
我们昨天晚上已经把2个队的数据和资料就全部研究开会讨论了。
We've already studied and analyzed both teams' stats last night.
They are very, very prepared. All right. Many people have also said that Collapse's Magnus has led to many of Team Spirit's wins. How does the team feel about Magnus? Are they afraid or are they ready?
很多人也觉得 Spirit 的3后卫他的梦马就非常厉害，也是他们夺得胜利的关键。你们会担心这个英雄吗？
我们有想过他们拿猛犸这个英雄，就是全是在我们意料之中。
We've already thought of them picking Magnus, so it's all in our plans.
It is all in PSG LGD's plans, and we will see as we go into Game 2 of PSG LGD versus Teams.